Howdy folks, Troll here, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. And World Update Canada just dropped, and that means we have 3 more bush trips we can do now, and we've done all the others, of course. So we are just going to take the first one, and it's Newfoundland Passage. Let's click on it and see what it says. We'll read about that in a minute. 2.5 hours or so, so it'll take me about 6 legs. So let's do 2 legs per video and get 3 videos out of this. Pretty short when I edit it down. If you've never been with me for a bush trip before, you will very quickly figure out how we do it. I've done so many of these now, I'm not going to repeat with the long intros and things anymore. People probably just skip it anyway. We are going to read about it though, briefly, and then we'll get right to flying here. So, Newfoundland, located in eastern Canada and part of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, is a sparsely populated island of austere beauty. At just over 42,000 square miles in area, it is the 4th largest of Canada's islands and the largest of its islands outside of those of its high Arctic. Populated, I'm thinking about the show alone. We did some Labrador VFR flights because of that show. Populated by less than 500,000 and experiencing a subarctic climate where North Atlantic storms lash it, relatively few travel to Newfoundland unless you're on the TV show alone. Those who do venture into the area are treated to spectacular vistas of coastline, interior mountains, lakes, rivers, sweeps of tundra, and the colorful, historically evocative architecture of its few settlements. This bush trip visits all of the best that Newfoundland has to offer, so if it's not in the bush trip, it's not worth it apparently. Beginning at the small Port au Choix, something airport, located on the island's northwest. The journey then weaves a course throughout a medley of the island's geography to the Avalon Peninsula, ending at Newfoundland's most populous city, St. John, the capital of Newfoundland and Labrador. Since we don't worry about it, and there are no achievements, I went through them all. We've still done all the achievements except the hours, because those of us in the beginning lost our hours. Otherwise, I have all the achievements done. Nothing new so far. Okay, so we're going to do 2 legs per video. Let's get going. Oh man, the Bonanza G36. I used to love this plane, and then like 4 or 5 sim updates ago, they changed something, and now the Bonanza G36 and I do not get along very well. I don't know, we just don't get along, but maybe we'll do better this time. Maybe we'll have a new beginning together and it'll be fine. Anyway, let's get going. And we're rolling away. Is that not a parking brake? What's going on here? Weird. Just stay put, please. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is repair and refuel, although we shouldn't need to. And they've updated this since our last bush trip, so I'm going to have to get used to a few nuances. Otherwise, I don't think it's terribly complicated. And we're not going to use much for bush trips anyway, because it's all kind of like prepared, preset what we're going to do, right? I would like to use the wind, although it doesn't really matter in bush trips again, but I'd like to turn it on. And we will use the GPS, and I'll explain how and why in a moment. First thing we do on the bush trips is we hop outside and have a look at what we're doing. And are my rudders not working? Do my rudders not work? Oh man, let me reset my rudders quick here. Okay, after resetting all the cables in the right order of operations, I finally got my rudders working. So it's like half an hour later in real life. It was very strange. But anyway, this is where we are. This is what it looks like. And then we'll take off in a minute here. And I am out of breath because I was under my desk. And moving around really wins me big time. But anyway, look at all the little ponds. Oh, so cool. I guess you could call them small lakes. And there's the ocean. Alrighty, so we're basically flying down the east coast of Labrador. Basically, that's what we're doing for the bush trip. Let's hop inside. What do we need to do? I don't think we need to do anything. Oh, I got to reset some stuff because I restarted this sim as part of my troubleshooting. Do we? I did leave the sim. Do we still have GPS? Yes, we do, because it shows up there, duh. So those of you who have never done this before, When you start a bush trip, you get use of your GPS and the computer will fly the whole thing for you. If you stay within the sim for the entire bush trip and never leave, you'll get GPS the entire time, and then you will know where your POIs are and stuff, which is pretty cool. As soon as you leave the sim though, then that goes away and you lose it. So what we do is we do the first video with, which means first leg or two, with the GPS just because it's there, whatever. But then all the other legs we have to navigate manually. Alrighty, so that's just how we do it. Oh yeah, north is not up. Yeah, I forgot how to change that so that north is up. I don't see it on this one. I know there's a north up option. Whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, there we go. So that's what we're gonna do. So that's what the autopilot we use as well is for that. We also will use autopilot for let's stay really low for this one. We'll use autopilot with Bug later, but I'll talk about that later. Flight director will use GPS, vertical speed, I don't know, 100 feet per minute or so. We'll see if we can stay at 2,000 feet, if that's low enough. For this first leg, I'm sure it is, because it's just going around the mountains, but we'll see. This heading, I want north to be up. That's going to bother me. I'll figure that out later. I'll figure out when we're flying around. Alrighty, so that's all set. Super easy. Let's read about what we're doing. Pull up the nav log. Wow, these are long descriptions. Normally like 2 sentences at most. Anywho, after lifting off from Port au Choix Airport, turn to the south-southwest, cross Ignoracha Bay, and begin following the coastline of Newfoundland and Labrador for Route 430. This route parallels the coast along this part of Newfoundland, which is called the Great Northern Peninsula. Great Northern Peninsula is the longest by largest area peninsula on the island of Newfoundland. It is bounded on the west by the Gulf of St. Lawrence and on the east by the Labrador Sea. Port au Choix is rooted in Basque maritime heritage. Its name is Basque for Little Port. The town and surrounding area is one of Canada's most important from an archaeological standpoint, as a number of finds revealed some of North America's earliest inhabitants leaving Port au Choix, passed by Hawke's Bay, then Little Rock Brook Pond, followed by River Pond Lake. All the lakes nestled in the rugged coastline, which we looked at when we were up in the air. After River of Ponds Lake, site Inner Pond, and then the small settlement of the Portland Creek. So we're not really going to know which pond is which, but we're looking for a creek. 10 minutes out should bring us to about here, right? That's how that works. What we're going to do is we will fly that. I'll cut it short in terms of sightseeing, but you'll still see everything, and then read about the next thing when we get there. So that's how that's going to work. We are going to use a GPS just because we can for the first 2 legs, and then the next video I will have left the sim by then, and then we'll just have manual navigation. So parking brake is off, regular brake is on, because I don't know how long the runway is. Although I think with the new parking brake's engaged now, wasn't before. Okay. With the new VFR map, I think we can click on the airport and get more information, which I kind of showed in a previous flight. And whoa, the heck is going on here? Let's get this thing off the ground. Brakes to stop the wheels. Gear coming up. Flaps coming in. And we're immediately going to engage autopilot so that we can immediately hop outside and immediately look around. Right? Because it's a VFR trip. Alright, there we go. There are mountains in the background. We are going to hang out next to those for most of the first couple legs here. But otherwise, we are going to fly around and look for some ponds, apparently, and a creek. And it's 10 minutes out. Where are you taking me? I want to know where you're taking us. Alrighty, so, yes, I know Copilot. Yes, you were headed right there. I know Copilot. We are not going to use the back on track feature. I do want to see, though. Well, that's right. It tells you where you are, even without the thing. If I click on this, yay, we get runway length and altitude. Yes, we do. Remember, that's been my biggest complaint in all the bush trips is they don't tell us altitude. Now they do. Isn't that freaking amazing? As long as you don't accidentally click that back on track. So we're headed Does it say POI 1 or did they change what it says now? Come on, it doesn't say anything anymore in here. You used to have the POIs in here. Are we headed to Delta? That's where we're headed. I guess it kind of tells you the POIs where there's a change in direction. That's interesting. I mean, we already knew we're headed to these ponds here. That's not a secret. Alrighty, so I'm gonna fly there, and I think it's further than that though. Maybe not. Anyway, I'm gonna fly there, and then we'll read about the next thing when the next thing comes. Let me adjust my RPMs here a little bit. Okay, enjoy the sightseeing, and I'll see you when it's time to read about the next thing. So we're headed to this pond here with the creek coming in, and then we'll read about the next thing. But otherwise, this is a pretty good altitude. We can see everything. You can see cars and everything like that. When I was watching the trailer for this world update, it gave me the idea to actually fly almost along the ground, because that'd be fun, because you can really get a close-up of all the interests and everything. But I don't know, that's a lot of work to do too when you're trying to make a video, because you can't really jump out of the cockpit all that much. But we'll see. Maybe we'll do one of these where we fly along the ground. But where we are now, I think you can get a better view of all the stuff from the sky, because it's mainly geological formations. We're not really looking for that many buildings in this trip. Just ponds and things. Alrighty, let's prepare, even though the computer is going to change us on its own in 2.5 minutes, because that's what the GPS does. Whoop, my RPMs are still getting kind of wonky there. And again, well, we're going really fast. That's okay. We're going to leave in the GPS for the first 2 legs, because we're going to leave the sim and have to navigate manually later. We just do it any way we want, because we can. So anyway, reading about the next thing here before we make the turn. Ooh, do these stay now? No, they don't. Is this fixed? Or if you close it and restart it, nope, it goes back to 0. You can minimize it and it's fine, but then that's ugly. So yeah, they still haven't cared about my ticket I put in about those 2 things. And I know it can be done, because the first couple dozen bush trips are like that. Anyway, St. Paul's continue following the coastline to the south-southwest, and Route 430, which is underneath us this whole time obviously, which parallels it. The highway is officially called the Great Northern Peninsula Highway in this part of Newfoundland. It is also called the Viking Trail, as the only verifiable Viking settlement in North America is located at Lance Awe Meadow at the northern tip of the Great Peninsula. Gain a visual on Parsons Pond River, then Cowhead Peninsula, clear your hiccups, and then St. Paul's, a small fishing village, lies on the south end of St. Paul's Bay, just south of Cowhead Peninsula. So we're going to look for some bays and peninsulas. So it's probably going to be at the GPS. Of course, we have the nav information here too. Alrighty, so that's in a couple minutes, and then we'll read about Rocky Harbor. So there you go. Wrong button. Alrighty. Yep, just fly along the coast. I must have drive along the coast, and then we're looking for another bay, and then we'll read about this next harbor. Pretty straightforward, extra easy when you have GPS doing the work for you, but that's okay. Enjoy the sights for the next couple minutes or so, and I'll meet you again soon. Can we keep this altitude? I'm pretty sure we can. Yep, we can keep this altitude the entire time. Okay, see you in a little bit. Oh, one more thing. I got this to do north up. You just hit menu, use these two wheels to navigate, heading, orientation, select north up, hit enter a couple times, and bam, that's it. So there you go, north is up. Okay, now I will see you later. Okie dokie, we're about to do the next greatest thing here, so let's see what it says for point of interest 3. Rocky Harbor. From St. Paul's, continue following the Viking Trail and pass over 2 Mile Pond to just south of St. Paul's, and then over to the west. The Western Brook Pond in the distance south of a number of other ponds of various sizes. Sight Rocky Harbor in the town of the same name. Man, that's funny. Lots and lots of ponds. And then when we get to Rocky Harbor, we'll read about the airport and come in for landing. So pretty straightforward, I think. We're just going to go over these ponds of various sizes, as you can see here. And then when we get to the harbor right here, we'll read about our destination. So quite simple, if you can tell. A little low on the altitude, but I think we'll be okay. I might have to take some action around here. We'll see. Otherwise, enjoy the sights and the navigation, I guess, with GPS, and I'll see you in a little bit. And enjoy the little ponds of various sizes. And just like that, we're coming up on the harbor, and I hope we make it without crashing into stuff. Where's it sending us? It's going to send us down that way. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll let it guide us. I'll take over in a moment if I have to and climb, but I think we'll be okay. And there's our airport there. There's our airport there. Maybe we should gain 1,000 feet. What do you think? Let's go up 1,000 feet just to be safe. There we go. Look out the window at our turn. Very nice. Alrighty, and let's read about the final part of this leg, then we'll move on to the next one in the same video here. Continue to track the Viking Trail, which from the Rocky Harbor leads to the southeast at the base of the Great Northern Peninsula. Fly over the northern shore of east arm of Boone Bay, and then sight Boone Bay, Big Pond, a large complex-shaped lake which is skirted by the Viking Trail on its northern edge. Gain a visual on the town of Deer Lake. Deer Lake Airport lies just to the northeast of the town. But we have our GPS, so I'm not worried. Alright, he says about 10 minutes or so it'll come down once we level off here at a few hundred feet. Do we need to really climb? I think we do, because we're going beyond the water and over some darker green stuff. Yeah, I think there's some. Yeah, then there's that too. And then we'll come down here in this valley. Looks like there's a pretty good sized valley there. So that's what we'll do. 10 minutes or so for me. That'll be less for you because I added down the sightseeing. So enjoy the sights, enjoy the views. We had some awesome views on that last little segment. And I'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, so somewhere up there is an airport. Let's see here. Using this water as a point of reference, there's the town, which means the airport I think is right there. So we'll fly a little bit closer to it. Actually, you know what? Let's fly out to the water, and then we can go directly there, I think. Yeah, see? So let's do that. Let's turn off the autopilot machine, turn off flight director, head over this way, maintain our altitude until we're over the water, and then we should get a perfect sight line down the runway, concluding the first leg of this trip. And then we will do the second leg in a moment here in the same video. So it's on the right side of the river. There's a river, that has to be the airport there. Very straightforward. Some really cool scenery, good satellite imagery, really good autogen with the trees and things. A lot of ponds, a lot of hills. Yeah, that's definitely the airport right there. A lot of ponds, a lot of hills. But we'll see if it gets more or less interesting as we go. Some of these nature-driven bush trips get kind of old after the first couple legs, so thankfully it's only a 2.5 to 3 hour bush trip, because we've had some of these that were like 5-6 hours long of just hills and mountains, and that gets to be a bit too much of the same thing, but we will see. We will see. Looks like maybe a golf course there. Let's see. I just said let's see like 20 times. Let's come down now. We'll have a very short final. There we go. I know gear's up. I'm going to put gear down in a second. In a moment I'll put gear down. I guess that's not that short of a final. And gear down now. Everything else forward. Altitude is low enough, we don't need to worry about the mixture or conditioner, which this plane used to be broken. I'm not going to get into that unless we need to in a future leg. And we'll do flaps down in just a moment here. Keep an eye on the prize while we're looking at our gauges here. Let's get them more squared off. Crosswind. Do not use ATC in bush trips, which is fine. It's just navigation and don't crash. And don't overspeed either, because you'll stress the aircraft, and you will register to crash. First set of flaps down. Keep an eye on that speed. We don't want to go too slow yet. Nose down for speed, but then throttle so that we don't descend too much more than we are. We'll descend more on our final leg here. So more throttle to keep us from descending. There we go. And we'll do full flap because we can. We do not have reversers in this aircraft. Because it's not a turboprop, right? Alright, here we go. On to our final. Coming around the bend. Looking out the window one last time. The autogen versus satellite is okay. We have, well, that's not so bad on that side, but we have definitely seen better scenery in this sim. Of course, it's a mixture of what satellite imagery around the world is available, and of course that's different in different parts of the world, and then the autogen algorithm that their supercomputer uses to feed everything. Those two factors determine how good the scenery is going to be. This isn't too bad. This is like 7 out of 10 maybe. Definitely not the 10 out of 10 we've had on other bush trips, but maybe it'll get better as we go. And full flap now. And we'll let it come down a little bit over these trees. I don't trust the Pappy when there are trees, because we have been on perfect glide slope and even above the Pappy, and we've still clipped trees. So I get really nervous about clipping trees because they're not freebies anymore. It will register as a crash and you have to redo the leg. Trees used to be a freebie, not anymore. So now we'll come down into glide slope. Use the Pappy as our guide. I don't want to find out where stall is until we're over the runway, because sometimes we stall way too soon. Let's round out now. I have quite a bit of throttle in still, actually. Very long runway, let's use it. And still throttle engaged. There we go. Now we'll bring back throttle, let ground effects soften us out. And where's that stall horn? No stall horn. Okay, that's fine. We do not have reversers, right? No. Nope. Because it's not doing anything. Okay, no, okay, I just want to make sure it's not a turboprop, so we shouldn't have reversers, but there's been some weird things before, so I just like to try it anyway, even though I know it's not going to work. And what did it take? Alright, leg 2, same video, here we go. Your aircraft has been refueled. Well, that's a change. You don't have to do repair and refuel anymore. It refuels itself. Wow. That's new. I didn't see that in the changelog when you read about the update. Okay, whatever. Where are we headed to? Is it this Delta 2 thing? It is Delta 2, so now we're headed through there. Alrighty, so we got one more leg here. Let's zoom in a little bit. But not too far. I want to see what's ahead of us. We do have some terrain. Okay, so let's come back over here. Let's reset this to 3,500 because of the terrain. That comes up. We'll do flight director. We're still going to use nav because we haven't left the sim yet. Vertical speed 800 feet per minute was good. There we go. Pitot heat off. I never turned that on last time, did I? There we go. And flaps. We'll just do one set. Do we have enough runway, do you think? Or do we have to turn around and back taxi? We got plenty of runway. We used a lot because I was just trying to... Oh, we didn't actually use that much, but used more than we needed to because I wanted to get a feel for the aircraft because we not used to get along, but we got along pretty well that time. Okay, not complaining. Very good. Very, very good. Alrighty, here we go. Right off here. What does it say? Hampton. Once in the air again, head to the northeast following the track of the Upper Humber River across Newfoundland and Labrador. Route 422 in sight Hamden Bay in the distance. Hamden Bay is the southern end of White Bay, which lies to the east of the Great Northern Peninsula and is part of the Atlantic Ocean Labrador Sea. The town of Hampton, which is supported by small-scale lumber harvesting, lies just inland of Hamden Bay. So there's Hampton and Hamden. Don't get those confused. And then we'll read about the airport after that. So continue with the GPS. We don't really need to worry about navigation all that much. We just need to worry about altitude. But then in the next videos, we will use old-fashioned navigation. Alright, here we go. We're just headed up to that bay. Pretty darn straight forward. So let's go straight forward. Throttle forward. And release those brakes and park the brakes on now, I guess. It does whatever it wants. Okay. And here we go. Let's get rolling, rolling, rolling. And we should have plenty of runway. Should we get in the center? Why would we get in the center? That's boring. Let's stay on the left side here. And airspeed is well alive and much easier to take off than the previous takeoff. What does our wind say? Yeah, a little bit of crosswind from the left, which is weird. Let's pay attention. Brakes will stop the wheels. Gear coming up. And flaps coming up. And we're stabilized. Let's do autopilot right away, because why not? And there we go. Hands free. We'll bring back props in a moment here. Okay, what's it say? It says 13 minutes, but that'll come down once we reach altitude. So let's hop outside together and check out the pond. And then the woods, which is what, not pond, that's like a river. I like water in the woods. I'm not a beach person. I like when trees go right up to the water. It is so cool, like that. To be right there, real life would be absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, surrounded by trees, you can walk out on that and look around. Oh man, would that be amazing. Anywho, we've got everything under control, at least autopilot does, so we're just going to fly now for a couple minutes until we get to this Hampton place, and I'll see you then. See how simple this is? See you in a little bit. So we're still 3 minutes out or so, but you can see it here, obviously, and our altitude so far is perfect. So I'm glad he chose it. We could fly closer to the ground, but then have to climb up and down the valleys, and when we have land POIs, or like geological POIs, it's better to stay up in the air anyway. I don't know what this thing looks like. Looks like a little alien character shooting something out of its head. That's kind of weird. But anyway, if this were more about buildings and things like that, we might try flying lower, but we're going to keep this altitude probably throughout the entire bush trip, or higher if we need to. Otherwise, let's read about the next thing, which is already the airport, which is over there. So the GPS will turn us to the east-southeast, sight a large Y-shaped lake in the distance, and fly just to the north of its two upper arms. Gain a visual in the distance of the intersection of the Trans-Canada Highway and Newfoundland and Labrador Route 410, the Dorset Trail. Pass to the north of this intersection and gain a visual on the Indian River and the distant Halls Bay. Springdale Airport lies to the west, where Indian River empties into Halls Bay, just east of the intersection of the Trans-Canada Highway and Newfoundland and Labrador Route 390. Alright, so here's your Hamden, and we'll be turning in a second over to Springdale, where there is a lake with two arms, and you follow the upper arms, Y-shaped lake, follow the upper arms, and you go here. Pretty straight forward, I think. So let's hop outside together while we prepare for this turn, and then once we make the turn, I will turn you loose to our final segment of sightseeing for this video, and then like and subscribe so you know when the rest of the bush trip is published. And like I said, we'll do 2 videos, 2 legs per video, so this will be a 3-video trip. And then the other 2 bush trips coming up, one's pretty shorter than this one actually, and then there's another one that's pretty long, but it's only like 4 really long legs or something. So that might be 4 videos, or I might just condense it. Who knows? But anyway, this is looking kind of neat here, I guess. And then look at this land. You can't really tell that much, but look at this huge drop off right here. Look at this thing. This little peninsula thing. Or plateau. That's crazy. Look at that drop off. Anywho, let's hop inside because we are probably about to make a turn. And I don't want to miss it from the cockpit. And then we'll turn you loose. A couple seconds here yet, I guess. And it's starting to turn. It wants to turn. There we go. Yep. And we're gonna make it to see the lake. Sorry, I was just gazing and resting my voice a second, but let's see. Oh, no, okay, well, we just know there's a lake there. Cool. I like the hazy distance, looks very real. I saw a video the other day online. It was real life versus the sim. And the sim actually looked better than real life because of the camera or really bad phone or whatever the person was using for the real life shots out the airplane window. It actually looked like the sim with filters trying to make it look real. And then the sim looked super real. It was so crazy. The only way you could tell what the sim was that the airplane wing was very, very cartoonish. But if you put your hand over that part of it, the sim looked more real than the real life did. It was super funny. Anywho, alrighty, let's see. I'm going to turn you to some sightseeing for the next 7 minutes or so. It won't be that long for you, but it will be that long for me. And then when it's time to land, I will tune back in with you for the approach. I'll see you in a few moments. Alright, so somewhere out there, 2.5 minutes away, is an airport. It's not quite a fly straight in, so we'll have to veer off to the right a little bit. Where's in relation to the water? Oh, it's quite a bit before the water. In fact, it's by the smaller ones. So it's like right here, probably. So let's go down to the river and follow the river in. So let's turn off autopilot and the flight director because it gets in the way. And let's go down here and look for this river and try to find the orientation of the runway that way. Because I don't quite make anything out yet. How fast are we going? Let's bring back throttles a little bit. Start coming down ever so slightly. Let's see, there's a river there, and it's between, oh, there's two rivers though. What about this big old body of water? That's not even on here because it's way out here. Okay, so it's like just under us, I guess, and on the left. Oh, looks like it's right there. Okay, so let's bring back throttle so we can descend quickly and slow down. Keep an eye on both the prize and our altitude and everything here. I think this is a little too close to hit it from here. Let's bring gear down now so not cause some drag. I think we're going way too fast if we were to go for it. Oh, maybe not. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens if we can land on this first pass here, not have to go around. Gonna be tricky because we're going, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think this one has speed brakes. One of these small GA planes in the sim actually has speed brakes. I don't think it's this one. Ooh, maybe we can slow down fast enough. We would like to. I mean, the turtle way is to not go around, right? First set of flaps. Looking out the window the last time here. Look at that plateau. And full flap. Oh, I think we're going to make it. Oh, yeah, no problem. Cool. All right, that's farther away than it looked. Alrighty, we'll get down here just above stall speed and point the nose at the numbers, because if we get too low too soon, we'll lose sight of the runway. Let's get those throttles in here. More throttle, please, so we stop descending. Thank you. And then point down for some speed. Very straightforward. Kind of have a crosswind, tailwind, which is terrible, but in the bush trips, you don't worry about it too much, except the Patagonia one, it was quite serious. With the wind, but this one's not so bad. Alrighty, aim just above those numbers. Whoa, it's windy. Try to aim just above the numbers. Do not clip the wheels. And come in for a landing here. Holy moly, it's windy. Whoa. I think we'll be good. I don't think we need to worry about clipping the wheels now. Bring back throttles a little bit. Yeah, we're fine. We're going to come in steep, but that's because of those trees. Alright, here we go. No, now it's going to stall. That's fine. Ground effects saved us. Oof. That was rough. That was definitely one of our rougher landings, but whatever. Now that time I did stall, probably because the altitude. No, altitude's only 260. So the first time we were in the red and it didn't stall. This time we were 15 above the red and it stalled. So I don't know what the difference is there. Altitude's only 200 feet above sea level. Whatever, not gonna worry about it. We'll move on. So like and subscribe so you know the next video drops for the next 2 legs of the bush trip, and I'll see you then.